This video is intended to describe a lightblade talisman named Abundance, which would be the 45th rendition of 2025. Joining me today will be my very well utilized stick figure chakra map, which I'll be utilizing quite a bit for various chakra stimulation descriptions. As a perfect preliminary, I'll be discussing the blade band scaffolding, seen like so, going to this primary blade band, to this lateral band, to this band at the side, to this lateral band as well, and then this band conjoining the two right here, as well as the apex band, which would be the blade band scaffolding, which vaguely resembles a figure 8 designed to perpetually promote the recirculation of energy throughout the entire construct's vibratory output. Starting off with the transmutation blade band scaffolding seen right here, which serves as a great preliminary as a foundational structure of the ignition sequence of this entire device, with hematite being a fantastic iron-based mineral which rapidly grounds all excess radial energy through the root chakra into the earth stars, into earth for reprocessing. In tandem with smoky quartz providing the same energetic stimulation function to promote grounding of energy through the entire auric field into the root chakra, into the earth stars, into the earth for reprocessing in tandem. So the two deemed together are indeed the transmutation ratio to encourage rapid dialysis into the earth through energetic reprocessing at a consistent rate, as well as a way to ensure that the entire exotic crystalline pitch range indeed has a strong ground point to bring tangibility to the output to make the magic real. As well as the transmutation ratio by itself is very discouraging for any internal-external negativities to maintain stagnancies in the auric field to provide a very safe, rapid discharge into the earth for, once again, reprocessing. And the apex band seen right here will be where the necklace shall be installed after this video, consisting of classic amethyst, a lovely violet ray crystal that is very famous wind elemental concentration of 6, 7, 8 non-physical chakras back to one's higher self-continuity Godhead, so a true purple ray stone of divine connection and purification through that modality as well. Subcapacitated with the clear quartz to work as a neutral acceleration of the energy between this entire segment as it grounds back into the transmutation blade band scaffolding, which I mentioned is the quadrant seen laterally like so, down the sides, this lateral band as well, and this side banding would be the transmutation quadrant governing the excess energy circulation through a very grounded filter. And the primary blade band seen right here was, of course, what makes it a proper entry into the abundance morphic field of being the 45th rendition would be this blade band right here having a common denominator of the 45 in operational status up to this point. Starting off with rutilated quartz to be the most powerful accelerant just by the mineral kingdom of other frequencies in ignition sequence, as well as the clear quartz inside with the bands of rutile makes for a neutral ambient accelerant of the frequency closed loop circuit. Then going into moss green agate, the most stabilized heart chakra stimulant mineral kingdom, which is very advantageous, particularly as I expand upon the massive exaggeration of the green ray seen right here of a very high yield green ray abundance frequency generator, having the stability of the consistent open heart stabilized is one way to ensure, of course, the frequency overture of the exotic concentration of abundance is very well maintained into sustainable tangibility. Which tangibility I'll be saying probably 5 more times because it is truly one of my favorite words involving in the endeavors of vibrational engineering. Then right here is a very special crystal named Golden Healer Quartz, which is an impeccable gold white light high heart source attunement frequency. So that being said, of course, is self-evidently a very, very advantageous frequency alignment for the rest of the operating system to have a very clean celestial emanation of the gold white light heart of creation alignment is very intrinsically beneficial for a spirit tool, to put it in a very evident way. As well as the gold white light high heart source alignment is a very powerful celestial stimulant of source connection, while the green ray concentration makes for very terrestrial, physical green ray heart chakra impeccability, which works in tandem as basically, theoretically, working almost like a holy grail translating generator. To have a direct source alignment in the heart of hearts is the foundation of what abundance really would be, in theory. Then going into Peridot, a fantastic third and fourth chakra stimulant of earth, of the equivalency, in my opinion, of chlorophyll or growth, how indeed all this is possible, and makes for a very fantastic expansion of the third and fourth chakras, like I mentioned, to be a very powerful promoter of positivity and expansion, which is very conducive to the abundance ratio. Then once again, the root-related course to super intensify the sequence into the classic emerald. Emerald is a very famous stone of antiquity and extreme magical notarization utilization, and is quite simply the most impeccable green ray heart chakra mineral kingdom of great acclaim, for a good reason. This stone right here is of the beryl family, which means it has about an 8.5 out of 10 the hardness scale, which means it's green ray structure. It has a very dense atomical vivid output oscillation based on its dense structure, so it has a very, very, very powerful green ray emanation. Not to mention, of course, is drawing upon great amounts of lore and belief in the human morphic field of being a true royal precious stone of abundance for millennia that have recorded history at the very least. Then going into the golden healer quartz and so on, like I mentioned, Moscow agate, peridot, emerald, with the subcapacitation of root-related quartz and golden healer quartz to complete the sequence, grounded back into the transmutation scaffolding to encourage the grounding to bring tangibility of this energy output in a wearable talisman format. So, that right there will be discussing the entirety of the blade band scaffolding before I mention all the individual components seen right here, which will start now. And so when I discuss each of these individual crystals on this entire blade, they're all grounded to a central primary wire seen right here of copper, brass, and silver spooled together to be the main vein of the construct, which is, of course, the way to have the main vein is to have these other frequencies terminated to it so it has a common ground, so they all generate significant vibrational compound interest as an entity like organs I'll be discussing next. At the very apex of the wooden core of this lightblade talisman would be fulgurite. Fulgurite is petrified lightning, quite literally lightning striking sand, catching lightning in a bottle, which has a very powerful, profound energetic activation threshold. The aspect of the frequency resonance of lightning was utilized by shamans of antiquity as a spirit tool to intensify by resonance their prayers or their medicine or their magic for whoever is under their jurisdiction with lightning force. So obviously having that grounded into the primary wire brings a very powerful activation frequency signature of manifestation, intention, amplification with the force of lightning, which is very cool to say out loud. And the aspect of the lightning literally being resonated through the entire construct makes for a very dynamic full light body activation from top to bottom. But luckily there's a great deal of contingencies and stabilizers and grounders get the most out of that without it being too jarring by design. So right here is a very special green ray stone named jade. Jade, of course, is a very classic, famous crystal of the Orient, of that of abundance and beauty, which has prolifically been praised for millennia for both those things, of being a very beautiful frequency to, of course, enhance one's beauty through belief of millennia, as well as it being a classic stone of abundance as well, being another earth elemental, heart chakra stimulant of great acclaim in this rendition. Like I told the commissioner of this construct, I've actually must confess that I've had a criminally underutilized aspect of jade in later constructs, even though jade indeed is a prominent aspect of what could be considered a frequency of abundance to be in collaboration with the other classic stones of abundance. So this is a very nice little expansion foray that I felt was worth the diatribe. But there it is, jade, the green ray crystal of beauty and abundance, and it's all its glory seen right there, mounted to the blade face of this construct in a very prominent showcasing development. Then above that would be sunstone, which is basically served as the yang to the yin of the abundance constructs thus far. You could think of the green ray massive intake heart chakra energy activation being a very powerful input intake vibration, while this guy would be considered a yang output vibration of positivity. Sunstone has a very fantastic stimulation to the solar plexus and the sacrum chakras, which is very, very sunny, yang output, positive, good feeling vibrations. Is very, very conducive to having good vibrations and confidence toward one's endeavors encourages one's abundance to actually come into reception. So that's why, of course, that is a quintessential structure in all the abundance platforms of 2025 thus far, for its criticality of being the perfect antithesis, positive output, inspirational frequency to have good abundance as well in that regard, and just to have a very, very, very positive sonic disposition. Then right here would be Seraphinite. Seraphinite, this lovely green ray crystal, has been named after the seraphim archangels and is a very powerful full light body activator as well, and is perhaps the most powerful frequency alignment of angelic rescue, basically, that successfully discharges and dismantles any patterns of dis-ease found in the auric field from top to bottom. To be a comprehensive full light body activator, the entire chakra column is stimulated by this guy as well, as what naturally promotes kundalini flow through the entire system, as well as it being a very, very essential master healer to have in this very beautiful rendition of abundance is always very, very advantageous for utilitarian healing vibrations. Then above that would be another very potent golden ray celestial crystal named Libyan gold tektite. Libyan gold tektite was a very powerful and, interestingly enough, special crystal utilized by the pharaoh caste of antiquity to be carved into scarab breastplates for the Magi God King's breastplate. That would be the pharaoh. And so its very, very celestial, powerful frequency of acclaim is quite legendary and has a very powerful fire energy with storm overtones, which means, of course, it has a very powerful submission to the sacrum and the solar plexus, the fire elementals of the system, as well as a full gold-white light attunement frequency of celestial nature. And so the aspect why it's very relevant here is that it brings a very potent gold-white light dharmic acceleration, positive abundance manifestation frequency to the entire overture as well. Then right here will be a lovely specimen of turquoise, a very lovely copper-derived version based on its very beautiful light blue color. That's not been well concealed by the wire, so it never runs away, obviously, but it's there. So turquoise is a classic 5th chakra crystal of ancient grandfather ally that has been quite literally a favorite millions for thousands of years for a good reason. It's a stone of wholeness and pranic elemental comprehensive stimulation of earth, fire, water, and wind is through one 5th chakra focus, which makes it a true stone of wholeness and alignment with one's divine self. So that'd be the entire of the blade face mentioned, besides the selenites and the kyanites seen right here, which I saved for last intentionally. Next, I'll be discussing the section where this lovely green leather shall be installed much like a hood. So before I discuss the components that will be concealed once this guy is fully operational, ready to fly the nest, to live happily ever after with the recipient, I'll discuss the importance of the green leather hood as a functional component far more than aesthetical purpose. So the aspect of the green leather is another green ray heart chakra fortification color therapy stimulant for the entirety of the operating system, as well as it's a way to insulate these 2 points right here, so it mitigates leakages of energy from this entire section, so the efficient energy is translating more focused through the primary blade band as well as the apex band to ensure a further coherent focus of the energy from the 2 exposed blade band points. As well as it's a way to, of course, further protect the crystals that have been terminated under this section that is the hood. So that is the aspect of why that indeed is far more functional than just aesthetics, which is always worth a dissertation. This next section I'll be describing in one shot because they are quite intrinsic and critical, and I would dare say crucial for their pivotal roles in the functional status of this talisman. And clear my throat for that one. So right here would be red jasper, which is the quintessential earth stabilization root chakras from the mineral kingdom. So before I discuss them individually, all the jaspers and agates are the most stable vibrational varieties of both their color range and elemental correspondence in the mineral kingdom. So when you have all 4 of the elements, the terrestrial 4 elements, in the most stabilized formats possible, it makes for the most even stabilized continuity as part of the background operational system of this very diverse construct, which of course is very conducive towards longevity and equilibrium and efficiency, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, back on target. So like I said, red jasper is the quintessential stabilization of the root chakra of earth elemental correspondence. Then going into fire agate, the most stabilized fire energy of the root, sacrum, and solar plexus, the mineral kingdom. Then going into water with blue lace agate being the most stabilized fifth chakra stimulant mineral kingdom. Then integrated in the blade band would be another water elemental stabilization of agate of moss green agate, which is why it's of course here as opposed to this section right here for complementary balance. So that'd be the water. Now back to wind. This would be holly blue agate, a very rare purple ray crystal despite its trade name of holly blue. That is a fantastic wind elemental 6th and 7th chakra stimulant and stabilizer, most importantly, which is very advantageous for the higher disposition. So like I mentioned, the aspect of earth, fire, water, and wind in their most stable crystalline allies possible in one sequence is very, very advantageous for dynamic elemental spectrum equilibrium by design. Then over here will be another master healer named Star Argonite, a calcium-based full light-blade activator as well. Just like Seraphinite, is very fantastic for dismantling and clearing any patterns of dis-ease found in the entire auric field from top to bottom. So it's one of those true master healers I employ quite frequently for a very good reason. Seen right there. Then right here would be a stone that's quite in vogue right now named Shungite. Shungite is a black ray carbon-based crystal that is very effective for dismantling the wavelength emanations or transmuting what's considered to be 5G, unnatural harmful wavelengths, hence why it's in vogue right now with crystal enthusiasts is its claim to successfully transmute the natural radiations we contend with as modern humans to successfully, just like the transmutation ratio, transmute, filter, purify like a chakra filter, and disperse it from the field before it sticks and stagnates the entire field and causes a compromised or a dis-ease. I should really redraft this guy pretty soon. And so over here will be another black ray crystal named Black Tektite. Black Tektite is a product of meteorite impacting sand, so it has that intrinsic celestial cosmic impact energy found in the structure, which is very advantageous for being a heaven to earth frequency further. And the black ray, luckily, makes a very powerful full light body fortification from the roots up, from the earth stars black ray up, to have a very foundational way to raise vibrations from bottom up, which is very, very nice and virtually in all light tech for that exact purpose, no matter what designation platform, to give a tangible way to raise vibrations in the construct, and from a very foundational setting, which is very efficient as well. And that would be where the hood will be installed. And so at the very apex of this wooden core would be rose quartz, seen right here. Rose quartz is a very, thank goodness, common pink ray heart chakra activator, that of the love frequency alignment. So having a little dose of the pink ray love celestial high heart activator is very complementary once again to the green ray heart chakra terrestrial stimulation. And so speaking of the wooden core, so the wooden core itself is actually that of oak, which comes from a very good buddy of mine back here in my backyard near Mount Shasta. And so the oak makes for a very fantastic platform based on its dense atomical carbon structure, which is a very great way to, of course, have a transference of the silica resonance into a more grounded, tangible wavelength for this modern timeline. Hence, the wooden aspect of the core is quite crucial in bringing further efficient tangibility of the energy alignments to come into fruition. So the aspect of oak, of course, by itself is already a tree of great legend and notoriety and lore, of being a favorite of kings, gods, druids, you name it. I won't get further into it because this beard does not need to be longer than it has to be, but the point is that oak makes for a very dense atomical foundation of a wood range of carbon that's very, very resonant with the, for now, carbon template of the human being. And now I'll be discussing the selenites seen right here. These white crystals hewn to the oak core have a quite critical purpose. So by themselves, they are absolutely fantastic 6th, 7th, 8th non-physical chakra stimulants back to one's higher self guidance, which works impeccably to clear off debris between one's highest Godhead alignment, and one's conscious self, everything in between. So that for the spiritual aspirant is already a very advantageous frequency disposition. But the aspect where selenite truly shines is also with that high frequency divine alignment makes for a very powerful transmutation negativity or stagnant energies of not of one's divine essence. And where it triple truly shines, actually, is the functional purpose of it being a tremendous fulcrum of the device's functionality. So in this entire 20 minutes of this dissertation, these crystals are running on a primary wire scene right here, all in a closed loop reactive circuit, so that now that I've mentioned most of the components, they all carry significant direct contact patch vibrational compound interest. So with the selenite here, in this little closed loop circuit talisman, plays this critical role of purifying all of these crystals mentioned so far in the sequential ignition. It also works to amplify or intensify the entire group, but perhaps most importantly, it brings stability and equilibrium to the entire crystalline group mentioned thus far. So I'll reiterate that triumphant trifecta right now of the selenite by itself is already a fantastic higher self clear of negativity, but the aspect of working in synergy with this entire group of crystals, it works to amplify, purify, and harmonize this entire group of crystals, which is pretty excellent. Then I'll be discussing the 4 spectrums of kyanite seen right here with the black, green, orange, and blue. So kyanites are the most rapid transfers of energy in the mineral kingdom, so I'll be utilizing my penmanship whimsically fast for this illustration. Black kyanite is the most rapid transfer of energy from the root chakra into the earth absolute quick as possible, which can serve like a surge protector, and also another encouraging feature of this device to encourage the energy of this overture to ground the earth to indeed make the magic real. Then right here would be the orange kyanite, which is the highest spectrum of sacrum transfer back to one's factory divine settings before, of course, imprintations and the human experience happen, which happens to all of us two-leggeds. And so orange kyanite is a very fantastic enthusiasm generator, as well as a way to, of course, encourage tangible manifestation through the constant transfer of energy. Then going into green kyanite, the most rapid transfer of the heart chakra capacities to the highest level to bridge past any patterns of disparate energies. I'll explain that as a whole once I talk about blue. Then blue kyanite is a very fantastic third eye stimulant that bridges the left and right hemispheres together to mitigate cross interference, aka encourage the awakened third eye. So for whole brain thinking. So in that aspect too, of the 4 kyanites in tandem being the most rapid transfer energy in the mineral kingdom, it also encourages the entire overture range of this crystalline pitch to make the most rapid tangible transferences from all directions to make the magic real once again. And also it can serve as another layer of etheric Teflon. With that much rerouting of energy and buffering, it's very discouraging for stagnant lower frequencies to maintain the field with that much transfer, rerouting, and buffering like I mentioned. So that would be the entire crystalline composition of this abundance talisman, which like I mentioned 23 minutes ago now, would be the 45th rendition of 2025, which has been quite the ambitious concentrated crusade in 1 year's time of this development. And that would be it, with a very beautiful rendition of the jade particularly. Well, 1,000 blessings, and may the force be with us all.